Giving me a smoky glance from way across the bar. Coming my way, I can tell exactly who you are. You wanna take it fast, but my MO is I like to take it slow. So I'm not taking the bait, cause baby, I'm worth the wait. I love a slow burn. Take the time to get me warm. A slow burn. I love that calm before the storm. The heat gets me higher till it turns into fire and fills me up.
So, first out of the gate, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been in the entertainment industry virtually my whole life. I started out in a ballet company and also playing classical piano as a young person. And I didn't want to be a ballerina or a classical pianist for a living, but I loved performing. So luckily my mom recognized that and put me into singing classes and other styles of dance. And very quickly I became very attracted to musical theater because it got to use everything. I could sing, I could dance, I could act, and I really took to it and loved it.
Fantastic. Is that something you obviously you enjoyed as a child, growing up? Is that something you really enjoyed?
Oh my gosh, yes. In fact, my favorite times I remember as a kid going in my bedroom and shutting the door and just singing to every soundtrack, every album you could possibly think of. And if it was a soundtrack of a movie or a musical, I would do all the roles, and it was great. And luckily it turned into me being able to actually do this as a profession. So to have had a long-time Broadway musical theater career has been really, really exciting.
So growing up of a young age, up to the age of you are now, influence-wise, from the start to where you are now, who would you say has influenced you up until this point?
Oh, well, first of all, I mean, as silly as it sounds, I have to say my mom.
Oh, great.
Exposed me to music and the love for music when I was very little. She was very into movie musicals, and we always had music playing in our house. My dad and my sister and I would often sing and harmonize together, not outside of our house, but we just always had music in our house. And as a young person, since I do have a musical theater background, I always loved the old scores of the movie musicals, and also any kind of musical theater, cast recordings and stuff. I always loved it. I was a huge Beatles fan. Although
wow.
I wasn't born, I wasn't around when the Beatles were big. I learned about them a little bit later in life, but I still listen to the Beatles.
Amazing. Who is influencing you now as a recording artist as well as writing, etc.?
Yeah, I think what I'm loving so much about being a recording artist is I get to create my own style. As a writer, I came from a writer in the musical theater world, and then transferred over to the commercial world of writing songs. Yeah. And so I certainly, in terms of writing heroes, I look at the great writers in musical theater like Stephen Sondheim and Aaron Flaherty, who wrote Ragtime. And then when you cross over into commercial country, Brad Paisley and Brandon Clark are my two songwriting heroes. Yeah. I mean, I just think they're amazing. But what I'm having fun doing as a recording artist is finding my own style, seeing what I want to bring to it, and obviously Slow Burn, which is what we're here to talk about. Yeah, Slow Burn is not a country song. It's a, hot AC. Excuse me. It's okay. Hot AC R&B song, with a little dance mixed in it, playing on top 40 stations. And so I'm having fun kind of merging all my styles and all of my songwriting into what will maybe become my own style of music.
Is it nice having that ability? Because not a lot of people have that ability to take previous, experiences and musical talents and be able to combine the two and infuse and create something special. A lot of artists, especially younger artists, kind of literally have nothing to go by. So is it nice to have that little bit of experience just to throw into the mix?
Yes, well, in musical theater, I've been very lucky because I am versatile. That's one of my skills. So I play a lot of different roles in musical theater. And the cool thing about that is it's made me a versatile singer and a versatile actor and performer. So when you jump into, becoming a recording artist and creating a style, you can pull from all of those things. Yeah. So if I'm in the studio with Joe and he's like, I want you to pull that sound into this, I can do that. And that's really... it's nice to have access to those things. From the versatility that I have in musical theater, I can apply that now in the recording world. So that's...
How long have you been in this business?
Well, in the recording world, this is very new for me. So I'm very thrilled that Slow Burn, as my debut single, is doing so well. When I first met Joe about 2 years ago, I really came to him as a songwriter because since I'd been writing musical theater songs and musicals, I finally hit a point where I wanted to commercialize my music and started venturing into songwriting specifically in the country market because that's what I've listened to a lot and I really love country music. And so that was about 2 years ago. And, I always talk about this journey as being very magical because from the moment that I said that I wanted to be a commercial songwriter, all of these doors have opened for me.
Wow.
And I've just kind of said, whenever I talk to people, they're like, how did this happen? And I said, well, a door just opened and I would walk through and then there'd be another door and I'd walk through it. So it's been quite a journey. In fact, one of those very magical moments was about 2.5 years ago when I mentioned that I wanted to create commercial music and that I was going to go to Nashville to record a 3-song country demo. On a bizarre twist of fate, about a week later after saying that, I got a call from my theater agent saying they wanted me to go back out on the road with Wicked because I've been with Wicked in the past. And I said, that sounds great. Where are they going? And the first city they were going to was Nashville. For a whole month. And so right after I said, that I want to cut a 3-song country demo, I ended up in Nashville and got to do that. So that was just the first of many magical doors that opened.
So to give the audience an idea, I know you've explained that you're in like a little bit of the creation process at the moment where you're taking pieces of your background and obviously applying them into the recording artist career. To give the audience an idea of what could be or what is style-wise, musically, what can they expect to come from you?
Yeah, well, in terms of my songwriting, when I songwrite for other people, it's been a lot in the country market. But for me, I'm in what they call the hot adult contemporary market, which is played on what they call AC stations and top 40 stations. So I guess if you wanted to mainstream it, you would say the pop world or the hot AC dance world. And that really came from Joe Volpus because when like I mentioned, I came to him as a songwriter in the country world, and when I decided that it was time for me to be an artist, he was the one who really encouraged me to go into the adult contemporary world because in country you either have to be a 16-year-old girl or a strapping girl. And since I'm not either of those, it's all contemporary world. There's just so many shapes and sizes and colors and styles that he knew that I could find a fit there. So Slow Burn has been just opened up, again, a bunch of magical doors for me, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Slow Burn, which, as we've mentioned before, is the debut single from yourself in this new field, which is, first of all, fantastic song. Genuinely loved the song. In fact, the first thing that came to my mind was when I heard the song, when I hit play, when Joe sent me the song, was I thought, if you were singing this live on a stage with an orchestral piece behind you, I thought this very James Bond-like. That is the exact notion I got in my mind. So I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but that's how I certainly felt.
That's exactly how we feel. And I don't know if you have watched the music video, but we definitely went for a James Bond theme. And everybody who hears the song, I get comments on Twitter all the time saying, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a James Bond film. And we're thrilled about that because we do feel it's a song that has ability to get placed in TV and film. So, if we could be the next Bond, the next Bond title, well, that would make my day.
Oh, mine too. I'd be a woo.
I'm a huge James Bond fan since I was little. My dad always watched it, so that would be like just a ridiculous dream come true.
I saw the video as well because thanks to yourself, absolutely fantastic video. Like genuinely, so professional, so clean, so elegant, so classy. The whole thing. I urge everybody who does actually watch this or listens really needs to go and watch that video because it's absolutely brilliant the way it was executed. And yourself, just the whole persona and the whole feministic power that oozes from that video is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It is.
And that was something that, as a debut artist with your first single, most people don't opt to do that. They usually do just a lyric video. And I looked at Joe and I said, we're going to do a real music video. And he said, really? I said, oh yeah, because of my theater background, I had access to, the men that are in the video are, all professionals as well. And I just had access to that. And I really wanted to set myself apart and just show people that I wasn't just a singer, but I'm also a dancer and an actress and can use all of those skills to bring together a really professional thing.
So let's tell people how you and Joe got together, if that's okay. Yeah. And who he is.
Yes, and Joe Volpus is my producer. And I think of him right now as like my producer, my manager, my radio promoter, like my everything in terms of the business, because he really is my guidance and support in this process. But Joe and I met in a crazy way, and we should have never met, really. I actually met my cousin's roommate's boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
This random mix of things, and I met this guy for literally less than 10 minutes, and happened to mention that I write country music. This is when I was just, doing it as a songwriter. And he said, "Oh, that's cool. I have, I have this friend who's a producer. I could hook you up." And I just thought, "Yeah, right."
Sure. Yeah.
And he called me the next day and said, "Well, Joe will take your call." And I honestly said, "Who's Joe?" And he said, "That producer I told you about." I said, "Okay." And so I called Joe, and Joe said, "Send me some of your stuff." And luckily I'd recorded, a few things in Nashville. And Joe called me 20 minutes later and said, "I want to meet with you." And truly, the first moment that Joe and I met, there was just this this creative energy between us. And I think we both looked at each other and were like, "Oh, yeah, I get you. I get it." And we wrote 2 songs in 20 minutes of being together, literally. And those were 2 country songs that I had, basic ideas for. But what blew me away is that, I don't compose on a keyboard or anything. So I sing something a cappella. I create the melody and all the lyrics. And literally, I just sang these songs a cappella for Joe. And I remember, snapped the paper away from me with the lyrics and sat on the piano and just sat down and started playing an accompaniment that he just heard without any, I don't know how he did that. And I was absolutely bowled over. And like I said, we wrote 2 songs in 20 minutes. And
that is fantastic.
And those 2 songs and another one that we wrote together ended up on my country music EP, which we launched back in August, which is actually Nashville artists singing songs that I wrote, and 3 of those that I wrote with Joe. So
when you guys get in the studio, what is it that makes it happen for you two?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just in the studio a few days ago with him again, because we are recording my second single, which I'm super excited about. And I can't tell you the title because that's confidential.
Oh.
If I told you. But, what happens is I go in usually with the melody and all the lyrics written, and I just sing it a cappella for him. And he just hears something. That's part of his gift. He can hear the chord structure underneath it, even though I don't know what that is. I know what chord structure is.
Yeah, sure.
Even if I don't know, I don't come to him and say, "Oh, I want this in the key of A, and this should be this chord." He just hears it and starts playing. And so when I write something, I don't necessarily hear what chord is underneath it. I need someone like Joe who goes, "Oh yeah, this is an E minor or whatever." So it's the best way to describe our time in the studio is just magical. It really is. Again, one of those doors, the minute I walk into that studio, and I think you've been there as well.
I have.
I walk into that studio and I feel like it's my happy place. It's just, you feel very comfortable there, and he knows exactly what to tell a singer to get them to do what he knows that he needs to get from you. So that's pretty special.
So, again, propelling yourself into the next 5 years, I know you've said you'd like to win a Grammy Award, you'd like to, be at maybe as many reward ceremonies that are out there. What else was it you'd like to achieve?
Well, at the heart of who I am, Robert, is I've always been someone who likes to inspire others. And so I would love to think that by putting my music out in a very public forum, that I could have influence in the world. I believe in putting good things and beautiful things into the world. And I think that the artists are the light and the beauty in the world. And I want to always do that with my songs. I want people to want to crank up the volume and sing them out loud. I want them to feel good when they're listening to it and when they're finished listening to it. And when theater is a very closed medium, because you go to a theater to watch a show. And music is very public. And so I'm actually really loving the fact that I can have influence. And, I have little bits of that now with my Twitter following that's growing. And put that great stuff out into the world. But as I think down the road, how incredible it would be to be someone who's in the public eye that could bring that joy and light and happiness and beauty into the world, instead of the more darker versions that are out there right now.
Absolutely. I suppose it's going to be nice as well, maybe in the future when you're performing at your own show as a music artist, it's going to be nice to have, fans, if you like, out there just performing with you and sing your songs. It's probably going to be a nice feeling for you.
It will be so fun, and you know, it's fun because my country music EP. Well, that's not out on the radio. There are some, you know, internet radio sites that are playing the music there, and I love it because they always post when they play it, and it's a, you know, a 24/7 stream.
Yeah.
And they play my music a lot, and the feedback that I get both from the country music and from Slow Burn has just been so enormous, and so I feel like it's a sign that I'm on the right track. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and just going to keep creating right now because that's all you can do to build that, and try to do as many live performances as I can. In fact, my next big live performance is, if I can announce it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, on April 28th, we're doing my giant radio release party, and
Oh, wow.
it's going to be a star-studded A-list, you know, covered by multimedia, and I'm super excited about it, and I'm going to be performing both Slow Burn and my new song.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
So that will be so incredible, because that will be the first time that I will have performed those in that kind of setting.
Yeah.
I'm
going to slightly squeeze you a little bit and ask, what can people expect for this new song? What is it, you know, what's the sound maybe? Something, anything?
Sure, you know, the cool thing is both Joe and I are really excited about this song because we feel like it is the perfect follow-up for Slow Burn.
Okay.
You know, Slow Burn kind of is what we call a mid-tempo song, and, you know, it's not really a ballad, it's not really an upbeat, and, you know, we kind of took this risk to let's kind of appeal to the mainstream of it. And this one is much more in the up-tempo dance. It's got, you know, like a dance club beat, lots of programming to it. So it's still in the same ilk. You know, we're creating this persona, classy, sexy, but it's fun. I really love the song, and when I was in the studio the other day, I left there and I said, you know, I think there's a song here. And he's like, oh yeah, there's a song here. So as I've come home with the, you know, the basic scratch programming vocals that we did the other day, you know, I'm playing it all the time and figuring out all the layers and the background vocals, whether those are going to be, and I get more and more excited about it because I think it's a really fun song.
I'd like to give you the chance to tell people where they can find you, you know, where your music videos are, everything, all that good stuff.
Oh, great. Thank you. The best place to find me is on my website at LESIEBECKERmusic.com. And then on all the social media sites, you can find me on both Facebook and YouTube. I would be, you know, / Leslie Becker Music. On Twitter and Instagram, my handle is actually the Leslie Becker, on both Twitter and Instagram, but everywhere else it's Leslie Becker Music. And you can also find me on iTunes. Both Slow Burn and my country music EP are both on there. And always on the, obviously, the apmusicgroup.com, Joe's website. You can find me on there as well. So I hope you'll come and visit and like my pages and, you know, become a follower and all those things, because I'm in the process right now at the beginning of really building that fan base and building interest in what I'm doing. So the more likes I get, the better. And I'd love for, you know, the people out there to stay connected to me and maybe subscribe to my newsletter so they get up-to-date fan info that nobody else gets. And so, yeah.
Well, I know for sure that I'll be staying connected because I want to see and hear everything that comes from yourself and Joe, because it makes me so excited. So I cannot wait. I really cannot.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'd like to thank you so much for sitting down with me and giving people this little chance to, you know, see who you are, and let's wish you all the best of luck for everything in the future.
Thank you so much, and since I hope I can say this since we're recording this on Easter Sunday, Happy Easter to all those who celebrate it.
Happy Easter to everybody. Thanks a lot, Leslie.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
I love that calm before the storm. The heat gets me high until it turns into fire and fills me up with those slow-moving shivers and anticipating quivers. You'll be the winner if you'll just hesitate, 'cause baby, I